For the last 2 months of this year, 2022, I have decided that I'm going to be doing a language learning challenge. For the full month of November, I will be recording myself speaking Spanish every single day for 1 minute long. So that will be a total of 30 questions answered in Spanish, and then also 30 minutes of recorded video. And for each of these videos, I will be using my Dominican accent. Now, for the month of December, I will be doing the same exact thing, except I will be using my Castilian accent. So I have 2 months, 2 accents, and that puts me at 61 recorded videos. Does this language learning challenge sound familiar to you? This challenge is heavily inspired by Think Tam Language's 30-day record yourself challenge. I will even be using the same questions more than likely. But as you can see here, it has a little twist. So why exactly am I doing this challenge? And the big reason is I've been fairly lazy this year when it has come to developing my Dominican accent and my Castilian accent. So that's why I really need this to be able to focus a lot more and carve out time specifically to develop these 2 accents. This year, I just had so many different language goals, from trying to learn French for the first time to also learning a whole bunch of different types of accents within the Spanish language. So I've had a little trouble with trying to pick out which language goal that I was going to pursue first. And that's why I'm using this challenge to help me stay more organized and focused on the language goals that I'm trying to pursue. And I'm really excited to do this challenge because one thing that I really love about learning Spanish is being able to imitate Spanish speakers. So for whatever reason, I find it very fascinating that I have a whole bunch of accents in the Spanish language that I can use whenever I want. I think using my Castilian accent to answer these questions in Spanish is going to be the most difficult for me because I actually just really got exposure for the first time to the Castilian accent this year. So it is all new to me, and I have not been really practicing a lot with this particular accent. But with the Dominican accent, I started to develop this particular accent last year around June. So I do have a little bit more exposure to the Dominican people, the Dominican culture. So I kind of know how it sounds, and also I've had a lot more practice using that accent as well and having a lot of conversations with Dominicans. But there's still a ton that I can improve on, like increasing the amount of slang that I know from the Dominican Republic. So how exactly will I measure my results? I already have a list of review questions that I used to measure my progress when I did the 30-day record yourself challenge at the beginning of this year. So I'm going to use that, but it's going to have to get modified a little bit because I am more focused on accent training. Some questions that I've asked myself to measure my speaking progress are: how many times did I have to pause before I could continue speaking Spanish? And then also, how many adjectives am I using when I'm speaking Spanish? There will definitely be more questions added to this list, but first, I just gotta think about them. So what are some of the goals that I would like to achieve with this challenge? So one of them is to be actually really focused on developing these accents consistently, which is why I'm gonna be recording myself every single day. And then also to stop being so lazy. So I'm really gonna be pushing myself. Another goal of mine is not to become perfect in any way. So I'm not trying to sound exactly like Los Dominicanos or exactly like Los Españoles, but I want to see improvement in my accents. And the reason why I'm not trying to be perfect and sound exactly like them is because that is not a very realistic goal. And that's only going to make me more stressed out because I'm not able to obtain that goal. I also want to use more of the vocabulary that they are using in the Dominican Republic and also in Spain. That's something that is very important for me, is that I'm not just working on my accent, but also using the slang that they use in these countries. I don't want to know just their meaning, but I also want to know how I can use them in context when I'm speaking Spanish, but then also being able to hear them when a Spanish speaker is saying them to me. I also want to learn more about the different accents that are used in both of these countries, because not everybody is going to sound exactly the same depending on where you are living in these countries. As well, I want to be able to learn some jokes from both of these countries, and I want to speak more fluently and more confidently. Then I also want to reduce as many mistakes as possible during these 61 days. Is that too much for a Spanish learner to ask for? You may be asking yourself, how exactly can I reach these goals if I'm just recording myself answering questions in Spanish? And the answer to that is preparation. So instead of just recording a video of myself answering questions, I'm going to be doing a little prep prep work. And this is something that I didn't necessarily do the last time I did the 30-day record yourself challenge. I mostly just recorded myself very spontaneously, and I did not do really any research or do too much writing right before I recorded myself. So what I plan on doing is using an input and an output method before I actually record myself. So I might listen to a Spanish or Dominican podcast, watch some YouTube videos, watch a TV show or Netflix or something like that, just so I can have all of these new words and phrases fresh in my head. As well, I will be adapting my ears to how these accents sound. So once I have this input, so I want to do like some sort of summary or just try to use as many words and phrases from those countries as possible in what I just wrote. So that will prepare me very well for the recording. And I won't be listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube channel for like 30 minutes or an hour. More than likely it's going to be 5 to 10 minutes. But this is the type of study routine that I use and that I would also recommend you to use for developing a particular Spanish accent. But instead of doing it just for 10 or 15 minutes like what I'm doing with this challenge, you would be doing it for maybe like 30 or 40 minutes. I hope you see the benefits of doing a challenge like this. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and you share it with your language learning friends. The big principle of doing a language learning challenge like this is that you never know what you're capable of doing until you actually do it. And that is where a lot of Spanish learners actually fall into a trap, because they wait until they feel very comfortable until they, let's say, speak to a Spanish speaker for the first time, or they go on a call with a Spanish speaker or something like that, instead of just doing it right away. So what this challenge is making me do right now is overriding all of these feelings of waiting to the perfect time and just doing it right now. And what this is going to do is increase my determination and then also increase my discipline through the course of this challenge. Some other challenges that I have given myself this year are reading a book in Spanish and French at the same time. And now I'm on day 19. And this is something that I was really passionate about as well, because I love to read, but I was not making reading a priority during basically this whole year. So that's why this challenge has helped me a lot to stay focused, to stay disciplined, and keep me determined to finish my books. Another one was going to a barbershop and only speaking Spanish. I've also been challenging myself this year to speak Spanish in as many places as possible. So as you can see here, the challenges, they don't have to be anything super crazy, super long, like I'm talking about in this video, but it can be literally as short as having a conversation in Spanish with a Spanish speaker, or ordering food in Spanish, or having an ITALKI lesson in Spanish. Something very simple. So at the end of this language learning challenge, I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I learned and also my progress and some of the videos that I'm going to be recording on myself speaking Spanish. Check out the other videos I made when I did the 30-day record yourself challenge at the beginning of this year, and hopefully we will see some progress. If you would like to support my channel, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and the link is in the description box of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Me llamo Josué, esto es Spanish Blueprints, y nos vemos en el próximo video.